Hi Pottery peeps, I'm back in the studio. We'll see how long I can last. I'm doing much better other than the fact that I caught a really nasty cold that's had me down for a week. It's not one thing, it's another, right? Today though, we're making flasks. I'm going to show you how to make this dragon flask. Here is another one that is actually a really good seller, especially around Halloween. But I thought I'd show you how to do this one. And if there's enough time, I might show you, decorate one with the tree of life, just because I love tree of life. So anyway, I've already got a slab prepared, and what I'm using, we used this on something, possibly at fairy houses. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is a gutter guard. It's just plastic. You can get it at Home Depot or Lowe's or any hardware store, and it just goes into your gutters. And I've had this in the studio for over a decade, but it makes this really cool dragon scale look. It also does, you know what? I think we might have done it on the Christmas cottages. I don't know. One of those things. I use it a lot. It's got the diamonds, you can use this for so many things. It's just a really good staple for a cheap, really cheap. I think a roll of this was a couple of bucks back in the day. And of course, I've only used this piece of the roll. Anyway, I've got a slab prepared at 3/8. This is one of my foam templates that I use for handmade mugs. It's 4 by 12 inches, just coffee mug, or I use it for the flasks too. Some of the things that I've used, this is a cookie cutter with a design in it. And this one was actually, you'll have to let me know. I can do another video on how to do these on the wheel. They're really similar because you basically throw the cylinder. This one was done on the wheel, and this one was hand built, okay? In the hand-built ones, you get the opportunity to do a heck of a lot more texture. This one, you know, I just applied the cookie cutter to it. This one did the same thing for the dragon's eye. And I do plan to luster. I'm going to do a luster fire this week, and I plan to luster the eye gold. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. So you'll have to let me know in the comments if you want to see it hand or done on the wheel too. And I haven't actually tried out my wheel yet with the new knees, so we'll get to that. So let me go ahead and lower you down. All right, so I'm just gonna roll this in here. I got a lot of light coming in, so I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna take my pony roller and roll in some texture. And then just pull it out. If you get it rolled in a little too much, I'll just flatten it down. And then I'm just going to take my pattern, kind of line it up so that it's straight, and then I'm just going to cut it out. Got some clay on my knife. And now I'm just going to go straight across. On the sides, this is where we're going to be joining it. Okay, so we've got that. And while I've got this, if you'll notice, this is actually a pretty good, to do our spout. This is a pretty good spout, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out too. This is, of course, so much more than we need, but, you know, it's always easier to cut it down. But we'll go ahead and set this aside too for now, and we'll leave that for our spout. One of the reasons why I do this at a 3/8 is because I'm going to roll texture in and that's going to flatten out our slab. I'm going to move this aside for now. And then once we've got the slab, I'm going to cut this at a 45 here, keep my knife in the same position, and cut it at a 45 here. I'm actually working with reclaim. I need to get some clay. Part of being out of the studio for so long, I'm actually out of supplies. So Joe, if you're watching, I got to figure out a way to get clay this week. So then I'm just going to come in. I've got some slip here. Just going to add some slip. And the slip is just my clay that I use and water. This is a stoneware clay. And then I'm going to kind of meet them in the middle. I'm not concerned with this joint because this is where our dragon's eye is going to go. It's going to completely cover this joint. But I will smooth it in, make sure I've got a good joint. So I'll smooth it on the inside, on the top, flip it over, smooth it on the bottom. And then, so since this part's going to be our front, I'm just going to go ahead and just make sure that that's really good and smooth. Since I'm going to put the eye there too, that's going to keep it from cracking. Anyway, so the key to a flask is a kidney. So you're just going to smush it, you know, just kind of take it into your hands and make that kidney shape. And then once you've done the kidney shape, take back what you've got from your slab. And this is completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and roll in some more texture. Just love how easy that is. And then I am going to, for the bottom though, I'm going to not have any texture on it. So I'll pick a spot. Grab a needle tool or a wooden tool or a pencil, and you just want to draw around there to cut out your bottom. And then I'm going to bring it over here, but I need to flip it and try not to distort it too much. It actually is helpful if you let this sit up a little bit, but so that's going to be my top. So go ahead and cut out my bottom. It's okay if it's not perfect because you're going to blend this together. You can even put decoration where the joint is going to be too. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this side because this is my actual bottom. So this is my stamp that I use when I'm hand building. It says Hobble Creek Pottery. And since I'm cutting stuff out, I might as well cut this guy out too. Okay, so this is our top. I'm going to go ahead and just score the top, score the bottom. Bring this over so you can see. Score the top of this one. And then we'll just add our slip. In fact, I'm just going to add the slip. This clay is actually pretty wet, so I'm just going to add the slip here to one side. Okay, so which one was what? So that's our top. And if we've moved it a little bit, that's okay. So you just form it to meet your bottom. Heck, that could have been the top, who knows? And I'm gonna come in with my fingers and I'm just gonna go around and just kind of push that in. Just kind of, let me get my left hand. I can't do the left hand. I'm just kind of pulling it gently, okay? And you can also take a wet brush and just smooth the joint. This is the last time you're going to be able to get to the inside because we are going to actually make a closed form here. So go ahead and add our slip here. I like these flasks. They're kind of, I mean, they can be used for what they're intended. And I like the idea of putting, you know, like a skull on for something for spirits, or dragon, especially if you say you put like fire whiskey, or what is that, cinnamon whiskey, in one of these. But they can also be great ways of doing little flower bases, or if you'll see this, this is my cork. You can also, this is the one for the studio that I use to measure with, but you can also turn them into soap pumps if you wanted to. All right. So we're just, so now we've got a closed form. And so now, a cool way to do this, except for I don't know where mine is. I don't know where anything is, but you could go around with something like this. And just paddle it on. That's a very rough job, but that's okay because this one is actually, the hand-built ones I tend to leave a little rougher than I do my wheel throne. I just want to make sure that that's really good and sealed. Okay. And then I will spend some time smoothing this. Getting any extra bits of clay off. Just kind of smooth that. All right, where is, here's my water. I'm gonna get a damp sponge to help me do this. Just a little faster. I don't like to add too much water when I'm hand building, but it is a fast way to smooth. And this is a mix, since it's the Reclaim, the studio's Reclaim. It's got B-Mix with grog, speckled B-Mix. It's got all sorts of different clay bodies. I do try to keep my white clay separate from my red clay, but sometimes you'll get some bits of white clay in here too. All right, so I am going to, this should set up a little bit more before we do the next bit, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. If it sets up, if you let it set up, if you're doing a lot of these, it's great, because you just put them together, set them aside. But since I'm just going to do the one for you guys right now, just going to clean that up. Otherwise my videos just get way too long. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I got that shape the way I want it. Set it there. All right, let me see. Hopefully I still have some. I prefer cooking spray. And this is, of course, you know, just like with stuff in the house, everything's put away empty. There's hardly anything in here. Need to get more cooking spray out here too, which means I'll raid my house and not have cooking spray in there, which is par for the course. Studio is first priority. All right, so I'm going to take some of these scraps that I've got and just going to roll a ball. I tend to make sure it's smooth here. And then I'm just going to start pressing it into this eyeball. And this, I'll show you what this is. If I can find the link for this, I will post it, but it does have some names on it, so I'll show you that. So I'll press it first and then I'll roll it in really good. And then I'm going to peel it out. And I've got an eyeball. So this says Katie Sue Designs Limited. So hopefully that helps if you want the actual dragon's eye. So then I'm just going to come with my knife and I'm just going to cut it out. And it's okay if it's not perfect. And I'm going to score the back of it really good. This is technically already scored for me, but I will go ahead and score it a little bit. I don't want to overscore though because it'd be too hard to clean up with the texture. So I'm just going to slather some slip on it. Okay. Now, I'm going to make sure you've got the eye going the right way. That one might be, well, no, I think it goes this way. I'm going by the slit in the eye. I do believe, so I'm going to start with the middle and walk it to the sides. Try to keep your hands clean. Then I'll walk it up. Okay. Have a sponge because I am a dirty potter. Boy, let me tell you. Especially when you've got all this decoration on here. You don't want to get anything on it. Then I'll come in and smooth it down into the piece with my handy dandy little finger tool that I like. I think it'd be really fun to do a face jug on one of these, put a face on it. I was thinking of that. I really want to do it, but those take a long time and I'm not up to standing that long just yet out here. Ah, watch where you set them down at. So I'll just tip it over. Smooth the other side down. I don't want this cracking off either. So I want to make sure that that's really good and connected. The nice thing about these flasks though is you could do any number of designs on them. All right. So we technically already have our eye on our dragon. And now I'm going to go ahead and work on this part of it. So basically we're just doing a small cylinder. So now it's just a matter of how big your cylinder needs to be. So I'm okay with the height, actually. And I'm going to go ahead and use my little, and I just got these off of Amazon too. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that as my guide. Bring them in here and then cut them both at a 45. And then I've got my spout and I've got another one to make another one. Got enough there. Score that. And then put these guys together. And you've got your spout. Now it's just a matter of doing the same thing, coming in, cleaning up the inside, cleaning up the top. I'm going to actually just kind of smooth that down. And one thing I want to do, so I've already decided this is going to be my top. So I'm going to come in here with my fingers and I'm just going to pinch it. Just kind of give it, you got to think about the lips on something. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a flare. Okay, and then I want to come through and smooth down these dragon scales so that there's nothing sharp that someone's mouth is going to come into. This design is actually really forgiving. I really like it. Okay, so now it's just a matter of setting it on there. And I'll find where I want to put it. The last thing I'm going to do is cut the hole. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this first. I've got my brush in there. Go ahead and score and slip it. And then put it where I want it. That looks about right. In the middle there. Okay. And then I'm gonna score. I don't want to get that texture. I don't want to mess with the texture. I'm gonna add a little bit more slip here though. Definitely don't want the spout to crack off. And then I'm going to set this on here. I need to actually, the nice thing about it being I've got a balloon in here. So, and I can actually take that off. But I can use this to make sure it stays round. And I come in here, smooth it around, do the same thing here that I did with the eye, make sure I have a good connection. And if you'll notice, I'm taking my little tool here anytime I get any clay on it. I am wiping it off on my sponge. So you're technically done, you just have to put the hole in it. But I might, well, we're gonna go ahead and do it just for you. I would wait till it stiffened up a little bit before I popped the balloon. But I'm gonna go ahead and just take my knife and go around you want to carefully make sure, actually a lot of times I will cut this circle in half. So that way if it drops in there, I can get it out. I need a needle tool. Actually, well, okay, it's dropped in there, but I cut it in half so that it'll fall. I can get it out after it dries. It'll fall out. If you don't cut it in half and it's the circle, you're going to have a really tough time getting that out. So, and then you just smooth that into your spout. Now, if you've lost some of your volume, as you see that the top here is kind of concaved, blow in it. It'll poof it out. So I will probably do that. Just so, that's one of the reasons why I like to wait until it is set up a little bit more. This is another little roller. If you don't want the thing there, you can you know, the seam, I guess. Oh, that would be a great place to put some words. In this one, I just rolled this around it, but I did that before I put the eye on. So I'm not going to do it on this one. I'm just going to leave it. So anyway, that okay, so anyway, this is how you make a dragon eye flask. So be super fun for any of your Game of Thrones fans. I live in a family of geeks, so Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, you name it, anything to do with dragons, they're all about. So this is kind of a huge hit in my family and around my area. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you want to see a wheel thrown version of this, and I'll do that next week, okay? Anyway, hope you're doing great. Stay healthy out there. Take care of your knees, and we'll see you in the next one.